Good afternoon. If I could have you raise your right hand. Do you swear the testimony you're to give in this proceeding is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, under the pains and penalties of perjury?
Yes, I do.
If you'd have a seat and state your full name and your first and last, and spell your first and last name.
My name is Nicole Murray, Nicolemurray.
Turn your overlay.
Thank you, Your Honor. Detective Murray, where are you employed?
The Concord Police Department.
How long have you been employed there?
About 16 years.
And what is your current duty position at the Concord Police Department?
Currently, I am a detective assigned to investigations.
And what is your essential role and responsibility as a detective?
At the present time, it's largely crime scene processing, evidence collection.
And was that the same role that you held back in April of 2022?
Yes.
Now, were you involved in what was at the time a missing persons investigation back on April 21st of 2022?
Yes.
And could you describe for the members of the jury what your involvement was in that initially?
Well, initially, I was assigned to go to the apartment, the residence for the missing persons, Stephen and Wendy Reed, and search the apartment and photograph it for purposes of documenting it as it existed, note any abnormalities, collect any items that might provide information about their disappearance.
And did you do so?
Yes.
What time were you there, or how long were you there at the apartment complex?
I arrived at the apartment complex at about 11 a.m.
Okay. And about how long would you say it took you to essentially process the apartment by photographing the items that were there?
5 hours-ish.
While you were there, did you receive any information related to the missing persons investigation?
In what regard?
Just in terms of whether there were any additional leads or information that...
While I was at the apartment, no. I didn't really have much contact with anybody at that time.
Okay. Following leaving the apartment, what did you do?
I went back to the police department.
Okay. And at that point in time, did you receive any information related to the investigation?
Yes.
And what was that?
So once I was back at the police department, Detective Harbitz had received historical location data relative to Stephen Reed's cell phone.
Okay. And what did he do with that information?
It was described to me as GPS coordinates, and it was plotting in a forested area north of I-393 here in Concord, and we decided to send teams out to search the area.
Okay. And did that sending teams out involve just the Concord Police Department?
No, members of New Hampshire State Police were with us as well.
Okay. And so you responded to the approximate location of the coordinates that you had?
Yes.
Okay. And who went with you?
So I know I was with at least Detective Brown and Detective Gorham, and we started on Portsmouth Street at the Marsh Loop trailhead.
Okay. And while you were there, did you just take normal police vehicles and park at that area?
That's correct.
Okay. Were you able to drive any farther than just to the parking area at that time?
No, there's a dirt pull-off, but beyond that, it is gated where the trailhead starts. You can walk through it, but you can't drive a vehicle now.
Okay. Were there roads there at the time leading up to the power lines as there are today?
No.
Okay. So, yeah, you disembarked and started walking down the trails to the approximate coordinates that you had?
Yeah, so we had decided that the three of us from the Concord Police Department would walk up the power lines and continue on the Marsh Loop Trail while the troopers and their dogs were going to sort of parallel us on the side where the power substations are.
Okay. And you describe what happened as you were continuing on that walk.
We eventually continued on the trail into the woods. So we came off the power lines and went into the woods onto the Marsh Loop Trail. And at some point, we looked down into an embankment or a marsh-like area, and the troopers and their dogs were down there.
Okay, and what did you do in response to seeing them?
So they were conversing about the actual location of the coordinates, and it was at that time one of the troopers said his dog had taken an interest in a leaf stick pile.
Okay, and did you approach?
Yes.
Okay, and what did you see?
It was one of the troopers that pointed out that he believed he had seen a human head, and I could see also what appeared to be human hair protruding from the pile.
Did you photograph that location?
Yes.
Okay, how did you photograph it?
I used my department-issued cell phone, and I took 3 photographs at that time.
I'm going to show you States Exhibits 14, 15, and States Exhibit 43 for identification. You should take a moment to look at those and let me know if you recognize them.
State 43,
43, Your Honor.
14, 15, and 14. Have you seen these? Okay. Yeah, if you would
Okay,
just show
okay,
show
I
them
think-
too. Yeah, that's okay.
14 and 15 are already admitted.
Okay.
We're both doing this, right?
Yes, I do recognize these.
And, how do you recognize them?
These are the photos, the 3 photos that I had taken with my department cell phone.
Okay, and approximately what time is it at this point in time? If you,
So when we set out on the Marsh Loop Trail, it was just before 6 p.m. This probably happened within 30 minutes or so.
okay, and after reviewing all of those exhibits, do those appear to be fair and accurate depictions of the scene?
Yes.
The state would move to admit what's been previously marked for identification as States Exhibit 43 and admit as a full exhibit, States Exhibit 43.
Any objection? 43 is also a full exhibit.
Thank you, Your Honor. And if it's necessary, I'd move to publish these exhibits.
Of course, absolutely, yeah. No problem publishing.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. And just to be clear, this was Thursday evening, April 21st, 2022.
Yes.
Could you describe for the members of the jury what this image is?
So
It's States Exhibit 14.
this is what I had referred to as a leaf stick pile. At this time that we noticed it, it looked near flush with the ground. And that's the base of the tree in this center right side here.
In this image,
That's another closer image of that same area. And you can see the base of the tree is now in this top right corner.
and just for reference, is that a tree that eventually received a mark or some sort of an identification by the Concord Police
Yes,
Department?
that is tree 5.
Tree 5?
Yes.
And I'm showing you States Exhibit 43.
So this is an area behind the tree. So I guess further down and past tree 5 is a very wet area, and it appeared that perhaps some leaves and pine had been removed, but what was most notable was the indentation of where a large stick had clearly been recently.
This is a laser pointer. If you hit the top button.
So is this right? Yeah. So this indentation, a stick had clearly been removed from this recently, at that time.
Following taking those photographs, what did you do?
I went back to the police department to collect evidence collection, documentation, supplies. We needed to get additional resources out there, for sure. We understood that this was now a crime scene that needed to be addressed in a timely manner.
Okay, and what were the lighting conditions like at that point in time?
Well, daylight was going to be gone very soon. Rain was forecasted for the evening.
Okay. And so you left the scene and go back to Concord PD,
Yes.
and while you're there, you secure, what do you secure?
Well, I kept the photos on my phone. I got our crime scene response vehicle, and we also packed up additional pop-up tents because we knew it was going to be raining.
And then you return to the scene?
Yes.
Okay. And what do you do upon arrival?
I went back to the same dirt pull-off off of Portsmouth Street, and that's where I parked, and I almost immediately started taking photographs. That's what I did while others were collecting gear, as I started taking photographs while daylight was still left.
Show you what's marked for identification as States Exhibit 44. Would you just take your time to review the items contained within there and let me know if you recognize them all?
She's going through some.
So these appear to be the photographs that I took on April 21st.
Okay, I know there's a significant amount of photos in there of all the ones you've reviewed, and I know you're familiar with some of the images. Do they all appear to be fair and accurate depictions of the scene as it was on Thursday evening, April 21st?
Yes.
The state would move to admit all of the images that are collectively marked as States Exhibit 44 and publish them as States Exhibit 44 as a full exhibit.
Right.
And-
Yeah, absolutely. To the discussion I just had with counsel at the bench, Exhibit 44 is a full exhibit.
Okay, in just reviewing the images one at a time, Detective Murray, starting with the first image, actually the first image from that evening following your initial 3 images that you reviewed. Is that image 2?
It is image 2, yes.
And what is that an image of?
This is the start of the Marsh Loop Trail. It's right at that dirt pull-off off of Portsmouth Street.
Okay, so this is a location that's almost adjacent to Portsmouth Street. Like essentially, you could drive right up to that sign.
Yes.
And is that how this area appears today?
No, it's far more overgrown at this time than it is today.
Okay. And now referring to the next photograph, is that marked with, is it image 3?
Yes.
And what do these next series of images depict?
So this is just adjacent to the one prior to, and we're looking up the power lines.
Okay, this is looking north,
Northbound, yes.
referring to image 4.
Yes.
Okay, and what is that we're looking at in this image?
So this is another angle of looking north up the power line. That's the gate that we had talked about. It looks like it has been opened at this point.
Okay. And today, if you were to go through that gate, is this trail still there?
Well, it doesn't look like that. It's more of a road. I think they've laid some sort of log system down to create a road, but this was a very dense and wet area at the time this picture was taken.
Moving on to image 5.
Yes.
Could you describe what this is?
This is just continuing north, just a bit ahead of the prior image of that same. It's a bike path really at this point. It's a very narrow area, but you can see the vegetation is quite thick.
Referring to image 6.
Yes. And this is just continuing along the same bike path.
Referring to image 7 now.
And this is just me continuing to walk this path.
Okay, so these are essentially a series of sequential images that document the path from the trailhead to essentially the Marsh Loop Trail, where essentially the bodies were discovered.
That's correct.
Referring to image 8 now. Describe what the condition of the ground is in image 8.
So we are still on that same path, but you can see it's exceptionally wet and very, very muddy. This was not passable by a regular vehicle at this time.
And why is it in that condition?
We had heavy, heavy rain earlier in the week.
Okay. And you say earlier in the week, do you recall what day that week?
I recall that on Tuesday morning, which would have been the 19th of April, very, very heavy rain in the very early morning hours, continuing into late morning, I would say.
Moving on to image 9.
Yes. It's just a bit beyond that very wet area, but again, continuing on the same path. We're almost on the edge of the backyards to the residences that are on the left side, and just continuing north up the power lines.
Image 10.
And just continuing on that same path towards the Marsh Loop Trail.
Image 11.
You can see where it starts to split. You could continue straight under the power lines or almost go diagonally left to right and under the power lines, which will ultimately lead you to the trailhead as it enters the woods.
And so from this point forward, the images are going to be from the trail that's moving off to the right in this image?
Correct. We're going to move to the right.
Image 12.
And this is us moving to the right as if we're going to go underneath the power lines.
Image 13.
Just another shot a few steps ahead. We should see the trailhead soon.
Image 14.
You can actually start to see the sign to point you in the direction of the Marsh Loop Trail, and that is at the entry point to the woods. Looks like we're beyond the power lines at this point and going to continue up to the wooded area.
Image 15.
This is just a bit closer as we're getting up to that same area.
Image 16.
And this is as the trail enters into the woods.
Image 17.
It's just another angle of that same shot.
And was there anything significant about this location as far as the investigation of the scene?
In what regard?
In terms of the police operations?
Well, at this point, although I didn't do this, I can see that in my absence before I've returned, somebody has since put crime scene tape to block the public's entry into the woods at this point.
Image 18.
And that's just another angle of that same caution tape.
Image 19.
So we're on the trail in the woods, and we're just continuing the path, the recovery site.
And just to be clear, referring to State's Exhibit 75, you're able to see this. Is this approximately the area of this area where this image is taken, where the trail moves into the wood line?
I think we're a little more north of that,
Okay.
but yes, in that general area, yes.
Okay. Oh, yes. This is image 19. This is just inside the tape.
Yes,
Image 20,
just continuing down the trail,
image 21,
continuing walking the same trail.
image 22,
Looks like I've turned and taken a picture in the woods off the trail,
image 23,
continuing to walk on the trail.
image 24,
So this is nearing the area where we would walk down to the recovery site.
okay. And image 25,
So caution tape has been put up at between two separate trees, and you can see that's the pop-up tent that was put over the recovery site, and that was done outside my presence. It was in an effort to protect it from the rain that was pending.
and why was what was the concern about protecting that area from the rain?
Well, we wanted to preserve any evidence that might be there, and rain always makes things more difficult.
Image 26,
So this is walking, I'm beyond the caution tape, and I'm walking what seems to be the most natural path to that area.
and show you what's marked for identification as State's Exhibit 78. Do you recognize this?
Yes.
What is it?
It's a general scene sketch that was completed by another investigator.
Okay. Does it generally appear to accurately reflect the area?
Yes.
I'd move to admit what's marked for identification as State's Exhibit 78, striking the ID as a full exhibit, State's Exhibit 78.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
78 is a full exhibit.
Just referring to this exhibit, we just saw some police tape strung up between two trees. Are those trees identified on this chart?
Yes, trees 1 and 2.
Okay. And at this point in time, this image is taken from approximately what location?
I'm probably somewhere in this area.
Okay. just ask you just to kind of refer to that as you kind of continue to give the jury an idea of where the images are taken from.
Okay.
Excuse me, can I then maybe move it back a little?
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
Whatever.
Do you want to tilt it a bit so you're able to, okay. Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yes,
I don't need to see it.
no,
Okay.
I understand.
I can see that.
Right.
Thank
Okay.
Is that okay? Are you?
you. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I don't know from its present angle if you're able to refer to it as well, Detective Murray, or if,
No, I think I can, yeah.
okay. I'll move on to image 28.
28, okay, yes. So again, I'm just taking what seems to be the most natural path to the recovery site, continuing down this trail.
Image 29.
And we're getting closer. That tent is over the recovery site itself.
Okay, and that tree that's directly in front of the tent from this vantage point, is that the marked tree?
I think it's better in the next image, but it does appear to be this tree right here. Tree 5 that you're seeing on the diagram.
Okay. Image 30.
That does appear to be tree 5, yes.
And as we go through these next series of images, you can just kind of describe what the purposes
Okay.
of these next images are. Image 31.
So I'm just circling the site itself in order to capture as much detail of the area.
Image 32.
And you can see the tent as a marker, and we're just sort of circling this way.
Image 33.
Again, just circling the area.
Image 34.
Looks like I've taken some steps back to get a better vantage of the overall area surrounding it.
Image 35.
That appears to be that dark marsh-like area that we spoke about in my initial 3 photographs.
Image 36.
That is what we initially saw, this area here in my first 3 photographs of this area when it was still daylight out.
Image 37.
We're just circling around the site itself.
Image 38.
You can see the tent, and we're just circling this area.
Image 39.
Appears that I'm just photographing the ground itself in this general area.
Image 40, actually, image 40.
That's far more difficult to see up there, but you can see the tent in the background, and I'm obviously several steps back at this point.
Your Honor, if I could request, I don't know if it's possible.
Yeah, I was thinking the
Providing
same
these
thing.
images is
If
a
we could
little
just turn them down. If at any point council need to do that to make things more visible, just let us know and we'll accommodate it.
Thank you, Your Honor. Image 41.
So now we're back closer to the tent. I believe this is going to be, I'm sorry, tree 5.
Image 42.
Just another angle.
Image 43.
That is the recovery site itself, and this is the base of tree 5.
Image 44.
It's just another angle of the recovery site. This is it right here.
Image 45.
That is the recovery site itself. It's just a close-up.
Image 46.
This is tree 5, and this is the recovery site.
Image 47,
on the back side of tree 5 at this point.
image 48,
This is the base of tree 5, and it's just a close-up. This is the area of focus.
image 49,
This is the base of tree 5, and this is the recovery.
these next few images, okay, just again, describe them, if there's anything noteworthy that appear in them. Image 50,
So this is a close-up of that same area. What I started to notice, and you can see some of it, is this white powder-like substance that appears on top of this area. The white powder substance did not appear anywhere else in this wooded area that I could see. It seemed to be concentrated to this leaf stick pile that you're seeing.
image 51,
And this is just another image, and this is some of that white powder that we talked about.
image 52,
It's just another photograph capturing the ground.
image 53,
That's, again, that dark marsh-like area that was very wet.
image 54,
It's just another angle of that same area.
image 55,
We're back at the recovery. This is tree 5, and you can see a lot of the white powder has appeared to have been sprinkled on the top here.
image 56,
It's another of a similar shot.
image 57,
It's a close-up. You can see the white powder is visible in these areas.
image 58,
And that's another angle, but similar.
image 59,
It's just another angle of that same photo from before.
image 60,
Just capturing, you can see the logs that had clearly been placed over here. All of this, the pine and the leaves, the white powder.
image 61,
It's just another angle, again, depicting all of these logs and sticks and all of the pine with the white powder.
image 62,
This is tree 5, and so this is the area of focus here.
image 63,
Looks like another close-up of that same general area.
image 64,
It looks like we're just circling this area, but a bit closer than we were before.
and so was the goal just to kind of depict both the area from all angles, from both the outside working in?
That's correct.
Image 65,
So this is tree 5. And again, this is a much closer image of the sticks and the leaves and how they appeared.
image 66,
I believe this is just another close-up image of that same area.
and image 67,
This is a close-up of what we thought was a human head, the hair that we had seen, and what appears to be skin visible.
and image 68,
This is captured after the first rake, uncovering what we believe to be a human body.
okay. And when you say rake, what do you actually mean by that? There's somebody else out there besides you, obviously, even though we don't see anyone in the photos?
Correct. There are many other persons out here, but there was a trooper, Trooper Elsmiller, and she was with me, and she actually raked this area to uncover what was underneath.
Okay. And can you just process essentially consisted of?
It's a very slow process. We have to consider potential evidence. We don't want to disturb what's underneath, so as carefully as we can, layer by layer, she would rake this area.
And at this point in time, are you aware of anything other than just the fact that there's potential human remains of one body at this point in time?
At this point, no.
Image 69,
This is another angle of what we believe to be a head.
image 70,
It's just another angle of the same,
image 71,
and the same. This was a slow process with the raking. There were a lot of breaks in between. There might have been one rake to uncover certain areas, and we would pause and we would look and determine if there was any evidence to be collected or noted. Obviously, a lot of photographs were taken, so this is during that process.
image 72,
So we can see what looks to be an injury to the ear.
image 73,
Again, it depicts what appears to be blood and an injury there.
image 74,
It's just another similar image.
image 75,
So it looks like I'm sort of stepping around this way by taking photographs. Here is what we've been seeing in the photos prior. You can see a lot of the white powder on this area.
image 76,
And I think this is just capturing more closely the white powder that's appearing on these leaves.
image 77,
This is what we've been seeing previously, that piece of clothing and the hair, and this is a good close-up of that white powder. It was dissipating during the raking process, as we noted. This is a very wet area. You can kind of see these leaves very, very wet.
image 78,
So I've circled around the area because we started over here, and this is the piece of clothing that we've been seeing. And now we're sort of on that back side of where we started raking, and I'm just taking photographs of this area.
image 79,
Looks like it's just a closer image of the one prior.
and just as a courtesy to the individuals in the room, I just that these next photos are particularly concerning, so
Okay.
folks who are watching,
I appreciate that.
looking at image 80,
It appears this is just another image of the ground itself, and as the white powder begins to dissipate.
specifically referring to the upper left-hand corner of that image.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, so this is the base of tree 5. And for the first time, we have discovered a second body, and that appears to be Stephen Reed.
Image 81,
And that's a close-up of his face.
image 82,
That's another close-up of his face.
image 85,
Another angle, and again, this is the base of tree 5. The first body is more over in this area. It's just out of the cameras. You can see the piece of clothing.
image 86,
It's just further uncovering of Stephen Reed.
image 87,
Again, we're just capturing photographs during this process.
image 88,
This, you can see this article of clothing. This is an arm. Appears to be draped over his lower half.
image 89,
So this was the photo we just saw, and we're moving down. This appears to be a hiking style boot and a leg.
image 90,
And this is just another angle of that same image, we see Stephen, the base of the tree, the arm draped over his lower half, and this is a leg with a boot.
Image 90. Image 91.
This is just another angle, and you can see that piece of blue clothing that we'd been seeing in earlier photographs.
Image 92.
So we're further uncovering, we start to see what appears to be clothing here, correlating to this leg here.
Image 93.
So this is looking from the bottom up. So this is the base of tree 5, and we can see what we've uncovered thus far.
Image 94.
This is back where we initially began raking. Who we believe to be Wendy, her hair and that ear that appeared to have an injury.
Image 95.
This is another angle at the base of tree 5. This is Stephen. This is who we believe to be Wendy.
Image 96.
I am not. This appears to be Stephen here, and what we can see is clothing.
Image 97.
So this is right at the base of the tree. I know it's tough from this angle without another reference point, but this is the base of the tree, and this is Stephen here.
Image 98.
And this is just taking another angle on the opposite base of the tree. So before I was over in this area photographing down, now I'm on this side of the tree photographing.
Image 99.
And I've moved down to more where the feet are.
Image 100.
So we see a hand here with some clothing attached. And again, there's that injury that we've referenced.
Image 101.
It's just a close-up of that same image.
Image 102.
This is just another angle.
Image 103.
So as we're slowly uncovering, we see clothing and the hand.
Image 104.
So this is just another angle. We see that same boot that we've seen before, what appears to be the leg, an arm draping over his lower half.
Image 105.
So tree 5 is here, and this area is that natural path that we walked from the top of Marsh Loop down to this area. And it might be hard for you to see, but there is a pill bottle.
Yeah, I think just, I know you're trying to angle and see, but we're losing when you're a little
Oh,
away
I'm sorry.
from the microphone. No,
So
that's
I'm not able to see it from this angle. I might be able to see it in
I mean,
my
if you wanna-
photographs.
It might, maybe
I could move
that
the
other
mic.
microphone over, and then, even if you need to step down. and-
Where would you?
without-
I don't
without
want to
getting
stand in
the
anyone's
jury.
way. Where would I be out of someone's way?
But just as long as the jurors are able to, maybe we could just move
Walk over
that
here?
easel with, just move it a little bit towards the back.
I'm in someone's way.
Can everyone see okay? Okay, excellent. Yeah, we can move the microphone a little bit. Yeah, thank you, Paul.
I might need to see the next photo first and go back. It's hard to see from this.
Image 106.
So if we back up, so this is the pill bottle, and it is going to be, I believe it's right
105 again.
here.
Okay.
So, so you can see it. I'm standing on the trail looking again at tree 5. This was the natural path that came down to the recovery site. There appears to be a pill bottle amidst the leaves down here, and then we're going to see a close-up of it in the next image.
This is image 106.
And there it is under the leaves.
Image 107.
And then just another close-up of the pill bottle under the leaves.
Image 108.
You can see that it's very badly degraded. It appears to have been out here for quite some time.
Image 109.
It's not much is legible, but I believe you can see the prescriber only, not who the prescription was written out to.
Image 1.
Is where the
14.
pill bottle was. So the temp marker 1 is
Sorry, what number did you
This is
say?
image 114, Your Honor.
Okay, so we've moved from 108 to 114?
109 to 114.
Sorry, 109 to 114? Okay, I just want to make sure we're good. Okay, thank you.
What are these tents depicting?
So tent marker 1 is depicting the pill bottle, and you can't see it yet, but that is tent marker 2.
And what's tent marker 2 in the distance depicting?
A leaf with white powder.
And what was the item at tent 1, was that actually taken into evidence and given a property number?
Yes, the pill bottle was collected and given a property number. It was assigned 22-2099-PR.
And just briefly, what is the process of assigning a property number? What does that mean?
It's a computer entry back at the police department to assign it a property number so that when it's held in long-term storage, that's its own unique property number.
Okay, so whenever you seize an item of evidence, you assign a unique number or series of letters
Nothing
to
else
identify it?
would get that same number. It would be unique to that item.
Image 117.
So this is the rake, and this is, again, who we believe to be Wendy. You can see arm, and we're slowly uncovering more of the clothing.
Image 118.
It's just stepping back. This appears to be her buttocks. This is Stephen.
Image 119.
In further uncovering, you can see that she's face down and she's sort of slouched at an angle over him.
Image 120.
It's just another angle of that same image. You can see some additional clothing coming through, being uncovered here.
Image 121.
And this is just at a different angle, seeing more of the clothing.
Image 122.
A close-up of the arm here and some additional clothing. You can see that this appears quite saturated with a red substance.
Image 123.
So this is Wendy, and her leg is continuing. This is possibly, I think, going to be Stephen's boot here. You can see partial skin under here as well.
Image 124.
So you can see that she's laying over him. These are Stephen's pants, and this is Wendy.
Image 125.
It's an angle from the feet looking upward. We can see the jeans. This is that same arm with the yellow sleeve and the boots down here.
Image 126.
It's just another angle during this uncovering process.
Image 127.
Just another angle of the feet. You can start to see some boots underneath here.
Image 128.
This would be more the base of the tree on this side, looking downward. You can see some of the clothing here and the hand and their legs, of course.
Image 129.
And just another angle similar to the one before.
Image 130.
So we can see more of their positioning. They're still covered some with the leaves and the debris, but you can see all of the clothing here and her positioning over his lower half.
Image 131.
And that's just another angle.
Image 132.
It's a close-up of Stephen.
Image 133.
We're seeing a lot more of what appears appears to be clothing, seems to be all pushed upward. You can also see this jacket appears to be pushed upward as well. This doesn't really seem to be attached, at least initially when seeing it, and all of this clothing, this is part of her torso, is exposed because the clothing is pushed upward.
Image 136.
It's a close-up of the injury to the ear. That's the right ear.
And were you able to identify the nature of that injury just based on your review of it?
It appears to me to be a gunshot wound.
Image 142.
So the flags just mark areas of interest, to mark the general location of where their heads were positioned at this time, as well as their feet. So you can see the feet here and the feet here.
Image 143.
It's just another angle of that same shot.
Image 147.
You can see more closely the manipulation of the clothing, how it's pushed upward. See his jeans are exposing his ankles. They seem to be pushed upward. This is his belt. That belt buckle is more to his, what would be his right side. It's not in the center. It also appears to be pushed up and off of the waistband of these pants. That seemed unnatural. His torso is exposed. You see several layers underneath are pushed up.
Image 148.
And again, the socks are bunched, whether that was, their own or not, we can't say, but their ankles are exposed. His jeans definitely appear to be pushed upward.
Image 150.
So, still slowly uncovering, you can see more of Wendy's torso is exposed, and sort of the manipulation of the clothing. So this shirt here is almost entirely off. I believe it's just on her right arm only at this point, and you can see a lot of manipulation with her other layers here.
Image 156.
It's just another angle of that same image. You can see the clothing again and its overall positioning.
Image 159.
So this is when Wendy's body has been moved for the first time.
Now, who moved the body?
The assistant deputy medical examiner did. She had arrived at this point.
Is that standard protocol?
Yes. Yes.
Image 160.
This is just another angle after she has been moved. You can see now the positioning of Stephen underneath. This is a visor, appears to be badly saturated in blood. You can see the discoloration with this shirt, how this has now taken sort of a reddish color. This appears to be its natural color down here. The cuff of this sleeve, her left sleeve, is pulled entirely over her hand. That wasn't done by the medical examiner. That was as she was found. And that's the jacket that's attached to her right arm only. So the white side is the outer layer. That blue that you were seeing was the inside of that jacket.
Image 1.
So this is a rip near the waistband of Wendy's pants.
Image 176 for the record. Image 177.
That's just a close-up of that image.
Image 181.
So this is the first time we notice an injury to Stephen. This is his right ear, behind his right ear.
And were you able to tell what type of injury that was?
It appears to me to be a gunshot wound, and the medical examiner did, at the time we were here, conclude that it appeared that each of them had a probable gunshot wound to the area of their right ear.
Image 187.
So this is an injury to Stephen's left hand. It does appear to be a gunshot.
Image 191.
This is a close-up of that jacket that is on Wendy's right arm. This is its outer layer. You can see the discoloration, the red. and what appears to be like gauze or tissue seem to have been in the pockets of that jacket, but is protruding out.
Image 193.
So you can see a portion of her neck and her ear, and this is the under layer that seems badly saturated, and this is that jacket that she was wearing, and you can see this large saturation to this area of the coat.
Image 197.
So this is Stephen being moved for the first time, exposing his back. This clothing was not the result of the medical examiner. This is as he was. So you can see just how far up his clothing is pushed, exposing that large portion of his back.
Image 201.
So the flags you've seen already, marking the just general positioning of the bodies. Tent markers 3 and 4 are showing this visor. 3 is the visor. 4 is a baseball style hat. It's hard to see in this image, but that is the visor.
That's image 206. Image 207.
And that is the baseball style hat.
Following taking these photos, what did you do after this?
At this point, I assisted in carrying Stephen and Wendy out of the woods into the funeral home's vehicles.
And how far did you actually have to move the bodies to the point where you could actually get a vehicle to assist?
So the trail itself, where we enter into the woods, is not wide enough for an ATV to fit. So ultimately, later in the night, the fire department had come with a side-by-side to assist us. They could only go as far as the power lines right when the trail enters the woods. That's where they had to stop. So we carried them up the path to where we see trees 1 and 2, and we carried them down the trail to meet the ATV at the trailhead at the power lines.
And approximately what time was it once you kind of completed, or at least paused the scene investigation for the evening?
Probably around 11:30 that night.
And at that point in time, what did you do?
I returned to headquarters, and I was aware that the scene was going to be held until at least the following day.
And did you eventually return to the scene?
The following day I did, yes.
And what was your goal the following day in terms of returning to the scene? Were there any sort of priorities or any sort of procedure that was
Sure. So
addressed?
at the time that we left the previous night, it was very clear to us that where we found Stephen and Wendy did not appear to be, that appeared to be at least a secondary location, and that perhaps there was another area of focus that was not apparent to us at the time. So we wanted to continue searching the area. We were also aware that New Hampshire Fish and Game was going to be present with their ballistics dogs, and that at some point a Hillsborough sheriff's deputy would be at the scene with his electronic storage detection dog.
Because when you arrived on scene on the 22nd, do you recall what time it was?
I would say sometime between 9 and 10 that morning.
Okay. And what did you do upon arriving?
Well, we were meeting, my first focus was to meet the Fish and Game officers with their dogs because they were coming to assist us. I was aware that we would likely be documenting the scene further, so at some point I did take an initial photograph of my photo slip so that if items were found or areas of interest were remarked upon, we could photograph them throughout the day.
And did you eventually take some photographs that day?
Yes.
Okay. And And was that at the beginning of the day or after you'd completed searching?
It was at the end of the day when we were wrapping up for the day, I would say.
I'll show you what I had marked, what is marked right on the Stacy Exhibit 45. Trade.
I take we'll follow a similar process for Stacy Exhibit 45, so
I'll give you this.
we'll go a few questions later. We'll get into it.
Would you guys take a moment to review the contents of that binder and let me know if you recognize it?
So, yes, these appear to be the photos that I took on April 22nd.
And do they
So,
have-
any objection to that being marked as a full exhibit, subject to the discussion that we had earlier? So 45 is preliminarily a full exhibit.
Thank you, Your Honor. Do those all appear to be fair and accurate depictions of the scene from when you for each of those photos?
Yes.
Starting off with what's noted in the binders, image 2. Can you describe for the members of the jury what we're looking at?
So when we walk in from the power lines, we're walking in this direction. This is tree 1, right here. And this area here is that natural path that we would take to go down to the recovery site.
Image 3.
So the flags were put out throughout the day marking areas of interest. The numbered tents are marking areas of items to be seized.
Image 4.
So you can see we have tents 5 through 8, 9 through 13 here in this cluster. 14 is here. The reason this starts at 5, remember we collected 4 items the previous night, so we've kept in order.
Image 6 or image 5.
This is a close-up of the tents that we just saw, 5 through 8 and 9 through 13.
Image 6.
And that's just another image of tent marker 14. You can see that the tent is still up, this kind of windy path leading back to the recovery site.
Image 7.
It's just another angle of this skinny tree where tent marker 4 is. And again, you can see the tent in the background.
Is that a 4 or 14?
I'm sorry, 14. Did I say 4?
This is image 8.
This is continuing down the path. You can see a flag's been placed here to the tent.
Image 9.
We're just working our way down this path back to the recovery
Image 10.
and continuing on the path to the recovery.
Image 11.
Looks like I've stepped off sort of that natural path to show the area now in daylight.
Image 12.
I'm just documenting the ground area
Image 13.
and just continuing down this path.
Image 14.
So this is tent marker 15. I know it's hard to see. So this is kind of that natural path that we'd taken. So just off to the right. Now again, this is tree 5, so we're before tree 5. It's marking an item over there.
Image 15.
You can see it a little closer.
Image 16.
Just another angle of that same shot.
Image 17.
We have tent marker, I think my pointer stopped working. Tent marker 16, you can see it right in the center of the image. The tent, or the flags along the side, along the left side there, are just sort of depicting the natural path of this little trail that comes down.
In image 18.
And that just shows sort of that, the bordering area. And you can see the flags left over from the night before, and in the area of tent 16.
Image 19.
And this is just another angle of the flags that we've seen previously.
Image 20.
It's just another angle showing further into the woods under daylight.
Image 21.
This is looking back at the tent and the tree with those flags.
Image 22.
It's just another angle.
Image 23.
Circling, now appear to be circling around the recovery site in daylight.
Image 24.
And it's just another angle circling around the site.
Image 25.
This is the recovery site itself. The 4 flags that you see were left over. We've seen those previously from the night before, and tent marker 16 is right in the middle.
Image 26.
And this is just another angle to show 16.
This is image 29.
It's a close-up of tent 16.
And what is that at marker 16?
It appears to be tissues or gauze, and we believe that it had probably fallen out of one of the pockets of the jackets the previous night. It did appear to have blood on it, so we collected that.
This is image 32.
So we're back up on the trail. We've seen tent marker 5, and my pointer does not seem to work anymore. But tent marker 5 is identifying, if you can see right in the center of the photo, sort of that shiny,
Let's see if it's maybe it's just
Yeah.
a battery. If it's plugged in.
the shiny object appears to be a bullet fragment on the trail. And
is
that's
that the fragment you're referring to?
it's been flipped over. And you can see that white piece on top of it that does not appear to be natural to the material of ammunition. And this is another angle of that same bullet fragment.
Image 35.
Is just a close-up of it. You can see that it's pretty shiny, appears fresh, like it's not been out there long. It's not corroded at all.
And because it was marked, was that an item that was collected as evidence?
That was collected, yes.
Was it assigned a property number?
Yes.
And what number was that?
That was given property number 22-2104-PR.
Moving on to image 39, what is this?
So this is a close-up of tent marker 6. Remember, there were 2 clusters. 6, 7, and 8 were on the left side of the trail, and 9 through, I think, 12 or 13. Yes, 13 were more to the right. So this is, it's hard to see in lighting, but there's a red substance sort of soaking into the pine and the leaves that does appear to be blood. And that is it there.
Image 40.
And it's coagulated. It's not completely dry.
Image 43.
And this is a similar area. There were the 2 separate clusters, and then we marked 3 distinct areas within this one cluster of that coagulated substance that we believe to be blood soaking into the leaves and the pine.
Backing up to image 40 again, was that, because that was given a marker, was that also an item of evidence that was seized?
It was collected, yes.
And was it given a property number as well?
Yes.
And what number was that?
So that would be 22-2105-PR.
Okay. And then with respect to image 43 that we just looked at, that was collected as well?
Yes.
And was that given a property number?
Yes, so these are all 2022 property numbers. This would be 22-2106-PR.
Okay. 46.
And this is the last from that one cluster on the left side, that coagulated substance in the leaves and the pine. And that was given a property number of 22-2107-PR.
Moving on to image 48.
So we've moved from that cluster on the left to the cluster on the right. This is a leaf. You can see this one better. It's got some dry, some wet of what appears to be blood. It's this red substance here.
Okay, and was that given a property number as well?
Yes, so this would be 22-2108-PR.
And this is now image 52.
This is another leaf that appears to have a red-brown substance on it, believed to be blood. And that would be 22-2109-PR for the property number.
Okay, this is image 55.
So it's tough to see. It's this area here, a coagulated red-brown substance soaking into the leaves and the pine, and that was also collected.
And was that given a property number as well?
I think that would be 22-2110-PR.
And this is now image 66.
I know it's tough to see with the light on, but it's showing right in the center of the image that red substance soaking in, and that a cluster of that was also collected.
And was that given a property number?
Yes, that would have been 22-2111-PR.
This is image 68.
So that's tent marker 13, and that's depicting the last area of that red substance that we collected.
And was that given a property number?
Yes, that would be 22-2112-PR.
Image 73, what is this?
So that's a tree marker. Its significance was not known then, and to this day I don't know if it's significant or not, but we did collect it on this day.
I'm sorry, Ron, I didn't hear.
Yeah, if you just if you would repeat what you just said.
So I said we were not sure of its significance at the time or if it's significant now, but we did collect the tent marker, or the tree marker that you can see that's identified by tent marker 14.
Image 83.
So we saw this earlier when we, in prior images, walking down towards the tent site. I had pointed out tree 5, and this was before that, and this is a Gatorade bottle that's in the leaves. It does appear to have been there for quite some time.
Image 87.
So we are back at the recovery at the base of tree 5, and this was tent 16 showing the tissue there that appears to have blood on it.
Image 91.
So the tree with the orange marking is tree 1. So everything that you've seen prior is in the area in front of this tree. That flag behind the tree is marking a branch that's down on the ground that appears to have a defect in it.
Image 92.
And this is just a close-up image of that same branch
Image 93.
and a closer image of it.
Image 94.
So you can see the flag, and this is really tough to see. I believe this is the defect in this area here.
Image 95.
So again, just showing the tree, unsure if it was a bullet defect at that time, but this is us photographing prior to us inspecting that.
Image 99.
And you can see the defects in the general center of the photo. It's like the hole in the tree there.
And, following taking those photos, did you have any further investigative activity on that Friday, April 22nd?
Well, we did dig into the tree, and it didn't appear that there was no exit defect, so we surmised that it was probably insect activity and natural to the branch, and not something that was caused by a man-made event. But otherwise, no.
And do you recall after this day what your next investigative activity was?
Investigative activity.
Did you go to another scene at all after that day?
So on August 26th, I believe that would be Tuesday, the following Tuesday.
April 26th?
I'm sorry, April 26th. Let me just. So it would have been Tuesday, April 26th of 2022. So the following Tuesday. The pictures you just saw were from Friday. We started the day in teams of 2 doing trail walkthroughs in the area that included the Marsh Loop.
And as far as when you did those trail walkthroughs, what did you go to any location in particular?
So my assignment was the Noel Trail, or the Blue Loop, and that was accessible really on the back side of this area that we've been observing, and that was off of Curtisville Road.
Okay. And who was accompanying you on that day? Was it just you or other detectives?
There were other detectives. So myself and Detective Hemming were assigned to the Blue Loop, or the Noel Trail. We initially set out with Detectives Gorham and Dexter because initially the blue and yellow loops started out together before they branched up apart.
And did you encounter anyone when you were on the trails that day?
No.
On April 26th?
Well, so are you talking about when we were on the Noel Trail?
Just on the trails that day?
So when we completed the walkthrough of the Noel Trail, we didn't encounter anybody. I went back to headquarters, and at some point later in the day, Detective Brown and I came back to the Marsh Loop Trail, and we walked the power lines. So we didn't go into the woods where you can see off the power lines. We continued north of the trailhead.
And what did you do when you were out by the power lines?
We encountered 3 men walking their dogs. One person identified himself as Stephen Hatcher, and he brought up a burn site that he had noticed where many propane tanks had been burnt in the area.
And did he show you that site?
So he led us to the edge of the Profile Connector Trail and pointed in, it appeared to be like a small deer path or something that was worn down, and he pointed to the general area. So Detective Brown and I separated from him at that point. He continued on Profile Connector. Detective Brown and I went into that small path into the woods and found the site.
While you were at the site, did Detective Brown take any photographs?
He did take several photos, yes.
I'll show you what's marked for identification as State's Exhibit 46. I don't know if you recognize those.
These appear to be Detective Brown's photos from that day, the site as we found it.
And do those appear to be fair and accurate depictions as you found it?
Yes.
And move to admit what's marked for identification as State's Exhibit 46, striking the identification into evidence as a full exhibit.
Any objection?
I don't have an objection, but can we count the number of photographs?
Sure.
Yeah,
I believe
is there
there are
5?
5 in there,
There are 5 here, yes.
and they are individually numbered as
And,
well.
oh, they are, okay, they're individually numbered. Great, thanks, thank you. So, so I'm sorry, what number exhibit was that?
That was Exhibit 46, Your Honor?
Right, that's, okay, I just wanted to make sure I was correct. 46 is a full exhibit.
And I'm going to show you what's marked for identification as image 5389 of Exhibit 46. What is that?
So this is the burn site as we found it. It appeared to us that, someone had burned a tent in its entirety with all of these propane tanks. You can see the, what do you call them, pieces of the tent. Those rods that you see draped over appear to be pieces of a tent. And there are many propane tanks, other what appears to be pots and pans, things of the like.
Okay, and this is on April 26th, and just to be clear about the location of this, just referring to this chart, States Exhibit 75, are you able to point out where exactly that was located?
Yes. Do you want me to come up there?
If you could point it out physically, that'd
Yes.
be helpful.
So these are the power lines, and we encountered the 3 men in this area. So it'd be somewhere in here, in this general location.
Okay, and that's north of the Profile Avenue connector,
It is just north of the Profile Ave connector trail, yes.
and also, but still also right adjacent to the power line area as well.
Yeah, it's tough to see, so you can see the power line area. This is where all of those trails merge, and I think you were there yesterday, so you have to come along this white path, and when you get to the power lines, it's sort of in this general area here.
Thank you. And I'll just show you Exhibit 5390.
And this is just a close-up of that same site,
5391.
and just another angle, tried to capture as much of the site as we can.
5392
It's another angle of the same site.
and 5393.
This is the same site.
And Your Honor, this may be a good stopping point at this is the last.
I agree. I think this is a good stopping point for the night. So, members of the jury, we will resume tomorrow at 10 a.m. With testimony. You can just leave your notebooks there, and somebody will collect them. And if you could just put them in the envelopes before you do that, so we'll be able to gather them when we're done. You can just leave them on the chair to go back and gather them. Just a reminder, I told you I was going to go through my reminder at the end, and I'm going to stick to my word on that. So you can't talk about the case among yourselves or anyone else. You can't do any independent research and analysis, go on the internet to look anything up, or social media to look up anything up about this case, or to comment or read comments about this case. You're not to watch anything on the news or read anything in the newspaper about the case or from any other source. And certainly, as I said earlier, if your travels take you by places we went on The View, that's totally fine, but don't go back to any of those sites for the purpose of doing your own research and analysis. Again, thank you for your patience. We will see you back tomorrow for a 10 o'clock start.
All rise, the honorable jury.